Hello everyone and welcome. Today I'm going to unbox this So Much to Celebrate kit, and I'm going to make a scrapbook layout with this as well as the cards that are here. So you can see it all comes packaged really nicely. Now this one does not have a stamp set or a Stampin' Spot. Now Stampin' Spot, in case you don't know what they are, is just a little 1-inch square stamping pad, but this one doesn't have one of those. So everything that you need to make up the suggested cards is included in this kit. I'm just going to pull this open, spread it out so you can have a little look. Stampin' Up do little videos on their official YouTube channel showing you how to put the designs together. So I'm not going to walk you through how to do all of the designs here. Let me just get straight to the actual instructions. So there's always instructions with whatever kit there is, be it home decor, little travel journals that we've had recently, and cards. And there's no actual written instructions. It's all visual, but it will show you what adhesive you need to use. And you can see they have little dots here that represents the actual glue dots. So the little solid round dots on this one represent those. And this one has dimensionals in here, the mini hexagons. These are hexagon shapes, so you know which pieces you apply with what, if you follow the instructions perfectly. These are the cutest little things. Now, I have seen the cards made up at a workshop that I attended recently, and these are the little ladybirds that you use on the cards, and it actually shows you where to put them as well. There's always arrows, so you know on this card here you need 3 of the little ladybirds, and it shows you exactly where to put them. So let's get into more of this kit. 3 of these blue envelopes. I love this little detail on the back. So there's actually 6 of this blue colorway and 3 of the pinky peachy colorway. So some of the blues are a more rectangular one, and these are a more traditional A2 size, I think. You've got your sentiment spots here. So these will be for one of the cards. Sentiment spots for the other ones. So congratulations. Here are the other sentiment spots. So this one says congratulations as well. So these actually would be quite pretty as wedding cards or new baby cards. So I'm just going to put those aside. The card bases are gorgeous. So there will be 3 of each design, and it's already got some printing on here. So this will form a base to do your building. Absolutely beautiful. 3 of this size, and there's a mini slimline one. I love this look. And these are the little ephemera pieces, and you use all of these to create 9 cards, so 3 of each. I'm going to go away, I'm going to make up 3 of the cards, and then I'm going to look at what I've got left over to make a scrapbook layout, because I absolutely love the colours, the shimmer and shine with this. I know that I'm going to be able to use these pieces to create accent spots and stamp a title or something like that within here. So I'll be able to cut down the card base and use this as a piece on the scrapbook layout. So let me make these up as is. I'm just going to take out one of these card bases for each. The others aside in my box. So I've put the 3 cards together. These are some of the quickest cards I've ever made, and they are absolutely stunning. I'm hoping you can see all of that gold foiling treatment. This is one of the elements that just slides underneath this area here. So if you wanted to add more dimension to that, you could layer that up with some dimensionals and give it more of a layered look. And then you've got those cute little ladybirds just nestled in amongst some of the areas here. They were so fun to put together, so quick, so easy to do. You saw how easy it was for me to just push out this little delicate element here, the touches of gold foiling, and then the coordinating envelopes here. They're plain on the front. I love how these look, and they're going to be so fun to gift. But now I've set myself a little bit of a challenge to make a scrapbook layout with the leftover pieces. So I've got 2 sheets of ephemera florals here that are left over, because you just need 1 sheet to make 3 cards, and you making 3 of each design. I have some ladybirds. I've got some of these card bases left over. I've got 2 of each. This, I think, absolutely looks gorgeous on its own. So I'm thinking of cutting that down, and I have all of these spots left over. And instead of using this side, I could use this side to stamp my title on here. I'm going to go away. I'm going to sort all of these out and work out how I'm going to put these onto a scrapbooking layout. I'll do a bit of a dry fit, and then I'll come back and show you what I'm planning. I've got the start of a layout happening here, and I've gone ahead and I've prepped my base pages. I'm using White Willow as my base, but because this is going to be quite a clean layout, I wanted to put some matching cardstock behind it, and what I've done is gutted out the middle of this so that I can use the inside pieces for photo mats. Now, the colours that are suggested, and I love that they do this for the kits that come in the little brown boxes, they actually list the coordinating Stampin' Up colours. So it's Balmy Blue, which is this blue here, Old Olive, which is of course the leaves, Pecan Pie, which surprised me. So let me just bring out the card bases. Here's the Pecan Pie here. So that's been used for the inside parts of these floral elements here, and a little bit of the brown on the ladybirds, and of course the sentiment. So that's where the Pecan Pie comes from. Then there's Petal Pink and Pumpkin Pie. So I got out some of the Stampin' Up colours that I have, and the other one that I pulled out was Seafoam. So I thought that might work quite well with the leaves here. Now, this is the thicker cardstock that you get in a variety pack. So it is not two-sided. So if you buy the variety pack of the pastels, this is one of the colours that comes with it. And I was thinking about using this as a base because I think that would work quite well. I've actually punched out what I need. I'm going to use all of this sheet on this one layout and save this for another layout. But I wanted to bring out the pink tones. So I'm going to bring in Petal Pink, and I do happen to have a two-sided look to this because this came with one of the scrapbooking kits. And when I was looking at this, it has a more orange tone for me, Petal Pink. This side looks really good, but it doesn't quite go with the background piece of the card front. Now, this is one of the card fronts. I've just cut that in half. Petal Pink, to me, has a little bit more orange in it, which works really well with these floral elements, but I wanted to bring out the soft pink colours. So you can see these two colours here sort of go quite well. The other colour that I had was Balmy Blue, and that works really well with these floral elements. This is going to be a page for my mum, and what I've actually brought in is some Close to My Heart cardstock, which is peach, and this is a two-tone cardstock, but it matches quite well with these colours here. So I think the softer side of this, I always liked the softer side of peach better, so the lighter side works well for me. And I've cut my White Willow pieces at 11 inches by 11.5 inches so that I can do the frame all the way around the outside and bring those two pieces into the middle. It gives a really good cohesive look right across a double page spread when you frame it up like this. And I'm definitely going to be bringing in some of these little ladybirds here, but I'm just going to put those off to the side, and this floral element, and I'm going to do a little bit of a dry fit with this. So what I'm thinking of doing is having this as my title piece. So I'm going to stamp onto here, and rather than building this up like we did with the cards, I'm going to use these on my layout. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do first, and I do this quite often, I start off with photo mats. So I have made photo mats from the inside pieces of these. I'm just going to try and work out how I'm going to set this up. So I might do a little nestling in like this. I do love bringing things in together, and I mentioned this in the last video that I posted because I just find that bringing things in like this, it makes everything look like it belongs. And I quite like having white space around layouts because for me, this white space here, I'm going to decorate some of it with the die cut pieces that I have punched out, but for me this helps bring the eye in to the photos. I've cut my mats at 1/8 of an inch larger than the photo placement size here because I had enough to do so with the inside of these. I didn't have to worry about conserving paper. So to balance this larger piece on this side, I'm going to put a larger photo down here. I think I'm going to do something similar with this sort of configuration and have these laid out somewhat like this, or I might bring this one over a little bit and have it like so. So let's just scooch this up just a little bit. So I'm just trying to work out whether I'm going to have the photos coming this way, but it sort of leaves a bit of a gap in this center here. So I think what's going to work better is to have them over here so there's not quite so much gap. And then I'm going to start bringing in these gorgeous elements. Now, I showed you before the whole die cut sheet. I'm going to use the entire sheet on this layout. So I'm thinking I would like this strip going along here. I think that just highlights this photo over here. This is sort of the main photo, and these ones, the 3x4s, are supporting photos, and it helps balance this section here over to here. And to dress up the corner over here, I've got another one of these border ones, but this one doesn't have leaves on it, but I like that peeking out from the side of this piece here. So then what I want to do here is frame out this little section down here with one of these corner elements. So this one might work well because it not only frames this photo here, but it also brings this photo together. And then I'm going to look at this next largest piece, and I might do that here. And I'm going to put them so that they are somewhat over the photos a little bit. I've got another corner edge here. I can do the same sort of thing here by framing this one in. And then I've got a corner that can go up here. And then maybe what I will do is extend this one a little bit. I can overlap those daisies somewhat and have that along this area. So I'm sort of liking the look of this. This one I might just tuck a little bit under here and make a little cluster going across that section. And this part is going to be where the journaling goes. So I'm liking how that's looking. I've got an extra piece here, but I really want to put one of these leaves on this side. I am actually just going to cut this one off and tuck this leaf underneath here. So that brings in a little bit of that green up into this section. And then I might use this just to build up this piece, or maybe this piece. I quite like how that extends down just a little bit. Now, I know there's not any green on that section, and I want to do some stamping with this to bring in a little bit more green. Now, one of the colours that was suggested is Old Olive, and I think it's going to work best in second generation ink. I'm going to stamp some leaves, and I'm going to stamp title here. So I've done a little bit of a practice. So I'm just going to move this one off to the side and bring that one over. I'm going to bring in a new stamp set. It's called Textured Notes. I use this one this week too. I'm going to use this gorgeous leaf here. You can see when that is stamped up, it gives beautiful light and shade. Now I'm just going to lift this up here and put it down and see if I would like the first generation or the second generation. This leaf here is quite strong. I think I'm going to do second generation because it's just going to be a little bit of a background piece. Okay, so I'm putting that there so that I've got a little bit of an idea of where it's going to go. So I'm going to ink this up, stamp off, and stamp here because I'm going to bring this piece down, move it up just a little bit more. Remember to stamp off. Before I put another one there, I'm going to bring that down, have a little look. And I love how that is layering up. I'm going to put another one in here. And I'm going to put that down a little bit further than the stamping that I've got there. So stamp off. And I don't mind overlapping these. And then we'll do the same thing for this one. And I can check it, bring that down a little bit, bring down my element, and I love how this is framing out that one and it's giving a beautiful look to that. So I'm going to do this same thing on this section here. So I'm just going to put my photo up there so I know where it's going, and it's sort of all visual. I could get out my pencil. I know that this is the top line that this one's going to come down on, but I think I might just stamp one of these coming out this way. Bring my photo down, have a little look. I really like that, but I'm going to put another one up just a little bit further. So I'm going to do this throughout this layout and create little clusters of these to support my photos and also my embellishments that I'm putting on. I think this just adds a perfect soft touch to it. And I'm loving how that's looking. And then I can nestle these little ladybirds, and they've got somewhere to live as well. Rather than being adhered directly to the white willow paper, they can have some leaves to sort of sit on as well. So I'm going to go away and do the same stamping for the left side. There isn't a sage colour in the Stampin' Up range, so second generation Old Olive is really working for me when it comes to filling that gap of not having a gorgeous sage colour. So I'm going to bring in Wildflower Celebrations, which is in the January-April catalogue, and use Birthday Memories. And then I'm going to use these lines on the right-hand side to stamp some journal spots. This one I'm going to do in first generation. I'm going to do a test first. This was an envelope that got a little bit creased. I was doing one for a wedding card and the envelope was too creased to gift it. So I'm just using that to make sure that everything is stamping properly. I might have to season this up just a little bit. I don't think I've used this one. I'm just going to ink this up. That's stamping quite well. And then I'm going to line this up in the center. And that looks gorgeous. Now, I'm going to have a little experiment because I know that I've got extras of these that I'm not going to use. I think it might be a bit cute if I do this, but it might not. So I'm just going to add a few of these little stamped pieces just to make it look less white. And I'm going to go all the way around the outside. I really like that, but I think I would just want to experiment a little bit more and go all the way around this. I don't want to cover the words too much, but some of them are going to come into that. I can actually turn it a little bit to get a bit of variation. And then I'm just going to fill in this last section here. That looks really cute. I really like that. So now I can put my ink away and assemble my page. And then I'll be back with some finishing touches, and I'm going to move on to the second layout that I'm thinking of doing. I've finished adhering everything down, and this is such a pretty layout. I really love these floral elements and the colours that all work so well together. I think the touches of the blue are really lovely with this, and it just freshens everything up so beautifully. So the stamping has worked really well underneath all of these die cut elements. This was a whole sheet of the die cut elements that I showed you earlier, and I have put these little ladybirds in certain places, and I've put one on top of this title here. And I did do some second generation olive stamping here very lightly, just as a guide for where to put my journaling. Now I'm going to bring in the second layout that I've been working on, and I will also have a couple of extra cards to show you at the end that I created with the leftovers in a similar format. So this one here, I have used Sage, which is close to my heart color. I've used the light side because I thought it blended in really well with this Old Olive. I've done exactly the same thing with the stamping here, and I think you can see how well it works with this Sage color. So I've got some elements here that I still need to adhere. Now, obviously, I've gone ahead and I've done a lot of this off camera because I'd already showed you this technique of doing the stamping behind here. This title spot here is one of the card fronts. So I've just sliced the card front away from the backing. This is the mini slimline card. And instead of putting all the florals around this section, I've just kept this nice and clean, and I think it works really well. And that enabled me to put one of the florals over here. And I've kept the other one for another card. I didn't use all of the die cut sheet on this layout, and I've got some more up here that I'm going to bring in a moment. And the best birthday ever comes from that same Wildflower Celebration. This is the one that was designed for scrapbooking layouts, and this is where those little dot lines came from in the previous layout for the journaling. This one's going to have some strip journaling, and I'm going to show you what I've done to create that. Now, with this same card front here, I have just cut that down the center and used it as a border strip. Now, I'm not putting any other floral elements on here. This is just a design to bring the blue from this one over to the right side, and I'm going to put some journaling strips across this because in the center here you'll see where the join is. So I'm going to cover that up. And then you saw me take this away before. This is off one of the card fronts. So I'm going to tuck that in under here. So it's this one here. I've trimmed away the gold foil piece here, and then I've just fussy cut around the leaves and some of the gold elements here. And that's going to form the base for this cluster. So I'm going to adhere that down and just tuck it somewhat like this. Now I'm going to put other florals on this, so I'm not going to push it all the way down like this. I do want to see a little bit of the leaves poking out. And then I'm going to put this one up on foam. I'm going to bring the card in because that's the inspiration for it here. And then I'm going to tuck this one in like this. And I've got the other one that it's used for the other side, and tuck that one in as well. And these ones I'm going to adhere direct to this piece. And then this one is going to be popped up on the dimensionals. So this one is just going to go over top of here, roughly in the center. And I forgot, I'm just going to have to peel this up a little bit. So these are going to be my journaling strips, and you might recognize where these have come from. They are from the pre-printed greetings. So I have trimmed these journaling strips down just an 1/8 of an inch from each side to have them a little bit narrower. I just felt that was a little bit too wide, and I have used one of them to stamp the title here. And I'm going to tuck these in. I'm just going to trim this off a little bit so I can tuck it under. I'm going to have one in the center. I'm going to put another one under this photo mat. So I am trying to use up pieces from this kit that I wouldn't normally use. So you're not going to see that seam. And then I'm going to put another one peeking out from here. I'm going to leave this one a little bit longer. That is going to slide under here. Just need to trim a little bit more off. So that's going to be my journal spots. And then this one is going to go around the corner, framing the edge of that photo there. So this is the layout all done, except for the little ladybirds. I've got to put these on. These are just the cutest addition. I wish we could actually just purchase these, but they only come with the kit. They're an exclusive with the kit. Put a little one here on the title. I've already nestled one in this section here. I'm going to put one for this little cluster. And rather than having one on each side, I'm just going to nestle two together. I really love how this layout has come together. It's quite a clean and classic design, spots for 5 photos. If you didn't want to do 2 4x6 photos here, you could make these into more 3x4 photos. You could put 2 across there. And I've kept the same sort of framing as I did in the first one, but this one is cut at 11 inches by 10.5 inches to give a little bit more of a border around it. So I'm just going to bring this one back in. They're such fresh layouts. I think this might be my favorite little floral kit. The ephemera pieces are absolutely beautiful. So I'm just going to put the card next to this one because that was the card as per the instructions. And really, when you take that away, you would think that would be designed like a Memories and More card or a Project Life card for a scrapbooking layout. I'm going to bring the cards in for the second layout just to put them next to each other here. Before I do that, I've got another card to show you using this card panel. I had one of these card panels left over and no more of these little ephemera pieces, but I think that looks quite nice just with one of these sentiment spots. I've reversed that around just like I did for this one, but I didn't do the stamping around that. I've just popped that up onto foam and put a little ladybird there, and I really think that works quite well even without all the extra pieces. So these are technically the 3 cards. And I'm going to take this away now and bring in the other ones. So this is the card as per the design that comes with the kit. And this is how I've made it into a title spot for my layout. And this is the card where I got the idea of doing this little cluster element. But as I said, I've just cut around the base part and then I've arranged the floral elements on top of that. And then I had one of these pieces left over. I didn't bring it into this one because I just felt like it would make it a bit too busy to put another one of these here because I've got this cluster element. So I've taken this card front here and I've trimmed it down a little bit to put a little bit of the sage at the top and the bottom. I've used the same congratulations, but because this element here was used on the layout and on this card and on the first layout I showed you, I didn't have that left over, but I think it looks really sweet with this little panel on here that was meant to go on this card base here. And I've popped that up on dimensionals so that it is the same height as the sentiment here. I'm really excited about this kit. If you haven't purchased this already, I think it's one that you can get that would be perfect, that if you just wanted to make up the cards as is, you could definitely do that. They are beautiful cards. And then if you're a scrapbooker, you don't even have to make the cards if you don't want to. You can use the elements in this box to create scrapbook layouts with. And it's a really good price point. It's only $25 in Australia. And I love how I've stretched this out into 2 layouts and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards from it. This might be one of my favorite kits so far since joining Stampin' Up. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed what I've created. Happy crafting, everyone, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.